Hi, everyone. We're going to be going through the social studies assignment together. I'm going to read the passage for you, maybe do a couple of sideline conversations with you, technically with myself, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go through the questions with you, and we're going to start looking at some of the information together right now. So the first thing I noticed when I open up my document is that there are 2 pages. So I have this information page about Leif Eriksson, and then I have a question page, okay? So because I need to see better, I'm going to click the zoom, make sure I'm in 100%, and then I'm going to take a look. It says questioning before you read. What question comes to mind before you read this article? I wonder. And you might type in, I wonder who Leif Eriksson is. I wonder why he has horns on his helmet. Any of those things that come to mind as you're looking, I wonder what he discovered. Any of those types of wonderings are fine. Next, it says questions while reading. While you are reading, what question comes to mind? So if any questions, when questions come to mind as we read, you're going to pop those over here. And then finally, after you read, do you have any wonderings? All right. The next one says determine importance. What do the headings tell you in this article? So we should pay attention to that as we read. Visualization. In the article, it talks about the earth being black and rich. Write a simile. The earth was as black as, so we're going to compare the earth to something. Text to self connection. Tell about something in the article that is familiar to you. So if something that happened to Leif, something similar happened to you, you can jot that down here. Inference. What do you think Leif did with the rich cargo he received for rescuing the wrecked vessel and crew? What did he do with those riches? And lastly, synthesize. What was your opinion of Vikings before you read this article? Did your opinion change? And explain. So think about what you already know about the Vikings, those tough guys, and did this change your opinion? Did it add to your knowledge of Vikings? Jot down your thoughts here. Make sure you explain. All right, so now that we've looked at our questions, we're going to now take a look at the article. Again, I noticed that the title is Leif Eriksson. It tells me when he was living. There are some nice nonfiction text features. We have a lovely bit of headings for us, and we have 2 illustrations. Why do you think they included an illustration of Leif Eriksson and not a real photograph? You guessed it. No cameras in 1000 AD. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to start reading. Let me get my presentation view on so I can see it. You know, Miss Carnu needs new glasses now more than ever. All right, Leif Eriksson. And remember, he was living around 1000 AD, so over 1,000 years ago. Growing up on Greenland, watch out for that iceberg. Eric the Red shouted the order to the rowers. Wonder why he was called Eric the Red. Maybe we'll find out later. Exiled from Iceland, Eric was searching for a new home for his family. Young Leif, his son, kept staring at the huge iceberg while they slowly and carefully rowed past it in their Viking ship. Ooh, and make sure you check out our virtual field trip for Viking ships. Pretty cool stuff. Soon, the fjord opened up and Leif could see green grassland both to the right and left. The men stopped rowing and the ship gently grounded on the beach. They all went ashore. For the first 3 years, they lived in seclusion. There were no other inhabitants around. They focused on their family and environment, learning and taking what the new land offered. Coming west to Greenland. After 3 years, Eric the Red returned to Iceland. He told of the bounty which he had found in the new land to the west, the land he named Greenland. Stimulated and excited by his tales, Hundreds of people packed up their families and belongings and followed him to their new home. Leif becomes a Christian. Leif grew up to be a large man, one known for his fair judgment and honesty. Having been reared under his father's adventurous hand, Leif had a strong urge to travel and explore. One of his first trips was eastward to Norway, the homeland of his family. He arrived and was well received by King Olav. Leif and his men stayed there for the winter and were taught the foundations of Christianity. New land to the west. Some years before 1000 AD, another Viking relayed exciting news of a new land to the west. Leif, an adventurer in his own right, bought a ship, gathered a crew of 35, and sailed westward. With favorable weather and winds, Leif and his crew were soon following the outlines of the new lands that they had heard of. They continued onward, stopping only briefly at the other two lands, until they reached the third new land. Vinland is good. There they came ashore and had forests to provide wood for their homes and boats. They found their winter to be frost-free and agreed they had plenty of grass to feed the animals. Also, the rivers and lakes were filled with salmon and a large variety of other fish. And the earth, it seemed to be black and rich, where they could easily grow their crops, and grapevines were everywhere. So pleased was Leif by the bountiful land, he named it Vinland. Leif the Lucky. In the spring, Leif and his men returned to Greenland. On his return journey, one story claimed that Leif came upon a wrecked trading vessel, whose crew he rescued. For this good deed, he received the entire rich cargo and the nickname Leif the Lucky. All right, boys and girls, so now what you're going to do is we're going to answer the questions here. If you need to, please feel free to go back and reread for information. And I hope you enjoyed learning about Leif Eriksson as much as I did. All right. I look forward to seeing your work. Have a great day.